In this tutorial, we're going to deal with the idea and the process and workflow of digital hand rendering. What I have in front of us here in a web browser is a very simple sample. It explains the basic ideas. We're taking existing sketches and we're taking them to the next step, a true hand rendering process, but in a digital sense, rather than doing it by hand on paper using markers, pens, etc. We're going to use the tools within GIMP to manipulate the images to come up with effects similar to this. So going to GIMP, I have a sample image that I'm going to use, which we may possibly have talked about in class, which is from the Benjamin R. Lloyd website, which is I came across by accident in a Google search. In this particular image, you'll see that there are 3 different sketches all contained in one document. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break up the image into 3 different areas. Each file that I'm going to use is going to be for each separate sketch. So the method that I'm going to use is I'm going to save this image, and I'm going to save it as a GIMP file. Now be sure that when you're saving the file that you choose the proper extension. So here we can choose the XCF extension to ensure, and I'm going to rename the file and call it the Earth Mover. So I'll save that file. Now what I would do is I'd also come along and I'd save another copy, and I would call it the Benjamin Lloyd City Bus. Now I know I haven't done anything to these images yet. I know these copies are simple copies, but the steps that I would take is I would save a copy of each file for each sketch. So now I'll close this down and I will open back up the Earth Mover. And now that I have the Earth Mover image back again, it still contains all of the information, but I'm going to highlight just the information that I want to work on, confirm it as a selection, and then crop it just to this selection. So it means I'm now going to focus on this particular element of the sketch. Even though I may have scanned in from the same printed or from the same paper, I may have scanned in a number of different sketches. I'm going to focus on one particular sketch, and I go through the same process for all the different sketches that I have on a single sheet that has been scanned. So I pay particular attention to the one sketch, do all of the digital hand rendering for that particular sketch, save it, close it down, open up another sketch, work on that, and build up each sketch individually. There's too many layer management ideas and techniques to consider to try and do all of the different sketches that you've hand rendered, all the different sketches that you've outline sketched. To try and digitally hand render them all would incur too many layers, and the layer management within GIMP would just become too oppressive. There'd be too many layers involved. One thing about Photoshop is that Photoshop has a function called layer groups, which drastically reduces or improves. It reduces it reduces the complexity of layers by allowing us to put layers into folders. So that is something that Photoshop does have over GIMP. Unfortunately, we don't have groups or layer groups in GIMP, so we work in this particular idea. We take a single sketch and we work on that on its own. When it's finished, we save it and we move on.